Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Warren Brothers Sports Show. I am your host, Mark Sparky Warren. Out on assignment is my brother, my co-host, the other guy on this show, Paul Mr. Cleveland Warren. He's out doing who knows what. Last he claimed he was in Milwaukee, eating at some place called Arnold's. And maybe he'll call in and tell us what's happening. That's Paul. It's what he does. In actual sports news, seeing as this is the Warren Brothers Sports Show, not the Warren Brothers Paul's Crazy Shenanigans Show, the Cavaliers lost last night, 124-100. They did not look good in the second quarter. Gave up 43 points. Started out all right. They were hanging with the Heat a little bit, and that's part of it, too. The Heat actually look really good this year. I was talking about Spoelstra yesterday. Apparently the guy can coach basketball. I don't know what it is. I'll get into the stats later. Cedi Osman, I don't know why that guy's still starting. He's your 3. That's your starting small forward. Maybe it's because we had one of the greatest small forwards to ever play in the NBA at one point. We were a little spoiled there. But, man, Cedi Osman is just not good. Sorry, Cedi. I know people around here love you for some reason. You're a nice kid. You should be coming off the bench. Kent State basketball. They play tonight versus Concord. The Flight of the Concord. I believe that school's in New Hampshire, except you can't really say Flight of the Concord because they're the Mountain Lions. The Mountain Lions don't fly. That's a 5 p.m. tip-off down there in Kent State. You want to go down there, watch that game? That's where it is. I expect young Kalen Bennett to play a little bit tonight. I would like to see that. In respects to Major League Baseball, there were a few moves made by the Cleveland Indians. I have this thing that Paul put up there, but I'll look at this other thing. Nothing outrageous. People on Twitter were really upset about Nick Goody being designated for assignment, a relief pitcher. They're probably the same people who complained about the relief pitching going into the season, still blaming the relief pitching for all of the season-long woes, air quotes, woes. And even though the relief pitching was not great at the end of the year, this is just more the Dolans being cheap, and how this. I mean, it's just one move, but I'm obsessed with the movie Major League and how I'm fairly certain that most fans around here are just confused with the movie being real life. And that's all that it is. That's what I am of the humble opinion of. But I'll delve more into that. There's just kind of a key point to the very end of the movie, Major League, that whole play and everything. I need to just go back and watch that one scene, because if there's 2 outs, that's important. But if there's only 1 out, that's pretty important too. It doesn't matter if Taylor's safe at first or not. But I digress. And now we are playing the waiting game. Not the crying game, but the waiting game. Waiting to hear what's going to happen to Myles Garrett. Will they impeach him? Hold up the him being suspended for indefinitely. They're going to send him to the gallows and cut off his head. Just ruin his career. Hey, you hit a guy in the head, we'll hit you in the head. We got this really big stick. Or a helmet, I guess. Maybe an acoustic guitar. Something of equal weight and distribution. Not a brick. Because, again, science. But, that only works for you huge liberals when you say science. But, if you want to have an actual discussion about scientifically how it was. I mean, really, when you see Rudolph's reaction, and the guy keeps reacting, because you have to have a press conference. So yesterday before walkthroughs, he reads a prepared statement. He's ad-libbing during the damn thing. There's parts that he's scoffing at because it sounds like he didn't read it himself. I like the reactions though, because we're Clevelanders and we'll make fun of everybody for everything. But sometimes we mix our metaphors and do it right one sentence after the other. Someone really angry on Twitter at Mason Rudolph. This prep boy, white bread, has everything handed to him. Go back to your trailer park where you came from, you hick. Well, you're mixing your anger and your condescending remarks towards the schmuck. Does he come from wealth and privilege, or is he a hick? He could be both.
He's born with a silver spoon in his mouth in West Virginia.
Well, right, like, is his father the wealthiest of the meth dealers? Is his father the guy from Breaking Bad? I don't understand what Mason Rudolph. When you mix the metaphors like that, I mean, he looks like he's a douchebag who never had to worry about a thing in his life. His parents took care of him. I mean, I tried to look up his parents. There's not much about them. He's named after his grandfather and great-grandfather. With a name like Mason, it certainly sounds like a prestigious name. If his name was Joe Bob or Bill Jack or something like that. Bill Jack Randolph. He's going to come in there, guns ablaze, and shoot up your town, take your women. That's Ben Roethlisberger. That's who. So just because we hate the one guy and we really don't like the new guy, you got to, mix them apart a little bit. Roethlisberger's the guy who comes across as a small town hick, who's a jackass, who allegedly accosted women at bars. He did it. But, I'm just saying, now we're in the waiting game. Mason Rudolph showing who his true self is with his ad libs and his answers to the press conference, and local Pittsburgh smucks, when they're, even as he's answering the questions, they're laughing in the background. Ho, 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 ho. Yeah, he got away with one there. Derp, der, der. What I really kind of liked is Myles Garrett's parents went with him to his hearing, and he gets his hair from his mom. I thought it was really awesome. His mom's a tall lady. Dad looks like he could have played in the NFL. Maybe he could still be playing now. Dad's a big, strong, bald dude, and they're both tall people. It kind of resonated with me in a sense, Not that I'm Myles Garrett or ever that level or anything. With parents right by his side, he's going through some stuff, just like my parents would, or I'd want think anybody else's parents would. And Emmett Golden is the guy who got kind of questioned about that. I can't go on reading Twitter threads for more than like 4 or 5 tweets, because then you start to just want to jump off small buildings or take long walks off of short piers. But yeah, my goodness, Myles Garrett is in the waiting processes. He is going to have to wait probably the rest of today, and they'll have an official hearing tomorrow, an official outcome tomorrow. It's too bad our political processes don't move this fast. Claim a person does something, you talk to some guy, he did or didn't do it, here's the punishment. There you go. We'll just vote on it. And that's the process, So we got to sit through hearings and crappy debates. It makes more sense as to why there's the hearings, because the debates suck. I want to hear from any one person. If you're more middle of the road like I am, which I know from my statements I don't sound like it, but we've done all the conservative Republican stuff. That stuff's old hat at this point. We know who they are. We know where they stand. The Democrats, they were supposed to be the harbingers of change and good taste, and they fight for the little guy. They're doing all the same crap that they claim that the Republican conservatives did forever. I want to know who would you want to even be the Democratic presidential nominee? Who Who is there? Nobody. It's all terrible right now. It's dumb. They sound dumber than you and I and everybody else. I went to James Ford Rhodes High School here in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm no genius. I don't have a law degree. I think some of these people do. Wasn't Biden a lawyer or some nonsense? Isn't he supposed to be smart? Joe Biden's been in politics not only longer than I've been alive, but by like a decade. And I'm 36. The guy's almost been, he's probably, and even before he was a senator or congressman back in 73, he was probably in politics. That's a half of a damn century. That's a long freaking time. Oh, yeah, sports. So, yeah, it relates somehow. I don't know. I make analogies. It happens. Whether they're any good or not, I have no idea. Let's see here. The kind of screwy thing is I'm only showing it being at like 2-3 green bars. So I don't know how loud I actually am. There's a lot of times where I fear that I'm... Whoa. Oh, there we go. That's something. I'm not sure. That's it. For the first like almost month, I could just set it and forget it, and everything was fine. Now some things just seem like they're too loud. Other times they seem too quiet. Right. I messed with stuff one time. Never should have done it. I blame Paul and his silly phone calls. His phony calls. I almost think he's pranking me half the time. He's just 2 blocks away. He's just, being a jerk and doesn't want to come do the show. That's a conspiracy theory right there. But as for right now, thank you to anyone who is watching. Join the live chat. Help me out. Say some stuff. Can't keep putting this all on. Well, Paul's probably going to call any minute. We can expect Dave Hughes with his phone call. And I screwed that up slightly. I put the tripod on top of my list there. Oh, scoot that. There we go. All right. Didn't lose it. Thank goodness. So, Dave Hughes, we do our head first into the spread pick'ems, and I really have no idea what I stand at right now because I haven't been keeping track, and he only keeps track of his own. I should have made that like his job to keep track of mine too. Instead, I'm the one writing them down, and I'm not going to go back and look. Not that I don't care. I just because it's the against the spread part. I don't know anything of that. I am not a gambler. I am not a betting man. I would get it wrong too often. I would be broke. Baroque. And that's not the style of art. Speaking of art, no, this isn't artistic at all. There's no segue here. Coming to you from the Warren Brothers Traffic and Weather Center. In traffic. Pay attention when you're in parking lots, especially this time of year. There are a lot more people shopping and out and stuff. Make sure you're going the right way. Follow those little arrows. Look at them. Don't be busy playing around on your cell phone or eating or all that other stupid crap you do. You go in to the parking lot, you follow the arrows, and you come back around. Don't just fly on in at 20-some miles per hour. It's a parking lot. You only need to be going 5 or 10. And you fly on in, and you go in through the way that's the out way just so you can get a parking spot. Whomever you were a jerk. And of course, in the weather, it is currently 40 degrees, mostly cloudy. We are going to reach a high of 53 tonight at 9 p.m. That's right. Shorts and hoodie weather. The thing that we do up here in Northeast Ohio. I've even done it a couple times. Not the biggest fan of it because I'm big on shorts and flip-flops because, I don't like wearing socks. I'm disgusting. I don't care. Socks are an evil invention. I used to be the complete opposite way about it. I used to be like, keep your feet covered all the time. Your disgusting feet. Feet are still disgusting, but so are socks. Of course, anybody who'd want to advertise also is like, hey, make socks. Hanes wants to advertise on your show. Hey, well, they're screwed. I'd have to completely sell out. They give me enough money, I'd do it. In the news, And this is me actually being upset with something that happened on the news. And this is news in that it's news, and it's just the self-destruction of our own society. Because once upon a time, people who had to have jobs had to be good at their jobs. Now, any idiot can have any job wherever. I'm watching the news last night, and it says that local authorities set traps to nap porch pirates. You got all these jerks jumping up on porches, stealing people's Christmas gifts or their Amazon things. You order your crap online, and there you go. So these jackasses, they run up and they steal the stuff off the porch. And the bottom third, the thing at the scroll at the bottom of the screen says local authorities set traps to nap porch pirates. That's no such thing. You would nab them. You don't nap them. You're going to gently sing them a lullaby so that they sleep for a little bit. But there was whomever wrote it. It had to have passed other people. Who believes that's the actual saying? We're going to nap them. We have our best guys on the case to nap them. If it's a typo, the P is nowhere near the B. This is on a keyboard. So I'm tired of this. We live in the stupidest part of our society ever. We had 12-year-old war husbands fighting in the Civil War, writing eloquent letters to their wives at home. Now we can't even tell the difference between what it is to nab someone and to nap someone. Well, anyway, that's news for you. And real quick, want to tell you to get out and play with Melody. You're already here on the YouTube. My niece, Melody Baccia, has an entertaining YouTube channel. Get out and play with Melody. If you have kids, nephews, or nieces, you're babysitting, or you yourself just like to be entertained, you're here on the YouTube, head on over to Get Out and Play with Melody. Sit back and enjoy. Even though it is kid-friendly, and I'm not just saying this because she's my niece, my own personal relative. This little 8-year-old's a genius. She'll be cracking up laughing. You'll laugh, you'll cry. You'll kick the dog. You'll be feeling all sorts of different emotions. It'll almost sadden you if you went to school for that crap, like filming or writing or anything, because she's better than you, and she's 8 years old. Here on the YouTube, Get Out and Play with Melody. Like, subscribe, share, sign up for the notifications. You will not regret it. Funny stuff. Excellent little storyteller that she is. So we can figure that Paul's going to call at some point. Dave Hughes should be calling in later. Executive producer Dad, did you say something?
I said K.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we're at in life. Like you shoot text messages all the time, man. So I do it. I'm guilty of it. I was there when it was starting. People were still IMing. You don't even know what that is. Instant messenger. I mean, I don't know what it is, quite frankly. I never got into it, but I was texting, doing that in the late 90s. The technology was there. I was all about it. And people always rip me new ones, even now. Family, I understand, because they want to talk to you on the phone. And I'm not always good about that. But even friends around my age like to talk on the phone still. It's still a thing. People still want to talk on phones. And that's it makes sense. Sometimes you really need to talk on a phone. And I do it once in a while, begrudgingly, because, half the time I see the phone ringing, more than half the time, I don't recognize that number. It's not a friend. The only people who use phones anymore are solicitors or collectors. I'm dodging both of them. So, tell you where I'm at in my life. But if I know you and you're calling me, I will talk to you. I'll do that. But texting, I'm big on texting. It's the easiest thing. You say what you got to say, you're in, you're out, whatever. So the texting thing, it's fine, it's whatever. But now that's not even conversation. Hey there, how's it going? I just am running late because there was a car accident. It wasn't me, I'm fine. But all I can really do is shoot you this text real fast. I don't want to talk while I'm behind the wheel of a car. But we are stopped right now. And so there you go. That's fine. It's whatever. The response is K. They show up and they're mad that you're late or whatever it might be. Other such things. Intern Dave. Yeah, that's fine. Call whenever you can, Intern Dave. Oh, this is how I just still have you saved on the phone. That's not what you are anymore. You're let me give you a new title. Yet another one. You're not associate producer Dave anymore either. You're your NFL master picker. I don't know. Nose picker. All right. Well, I know with how Paul is, and even though I had told him 12:20 more than enough times, yesterday he called it 12:30, so that means he's going to call it 12:30 again today because he's got it in his mind that that's when he's going to do it because he wants to do whatever he wants to do. So what I'm going to do is I'll cover the Cavs real quick. So I figure if he interrupts me while I'm talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, I won't care. But if it's when I go into this huge like major league thing, the movie and the Indians' current moves and our wonderful fans who confuse our teams over the years with the movie. I really think that's what's happened at this point. We'll just talk basketball. Well, first of all, we'll go with Kent State versus Concord. They're playing tonight at 5 p.m. That's here at Kent State. So that's not here, but that's just, not over in Kent, about 45 minutes away. Maybe I should go see a game at some point this year. Maybe I'll even cover it and give myself a press pass and all sorts of stuff. Facing the Concord University Mountain Lions. I hope that's not really like a problem there in New Hampshire. All sorts of mountain lions are just prowling around, just like going after the townsfolk in Concord. I figure there's townsfolk in Concord, not like a city where people reside or there's where there's residents or there's people. They're townsfolk. That's the kind of place that Mason Rudolph. No, that's where Ben Roethlisberger came from. He came from a place where there's townsfolk. I walk around with our guns. I shoot them off in the air and we say, "Yeehaw! Pass me the moonshine, yippity dippity doo." Whereas Mason Rudolph is from a place with high society. I guess I don't know. Whatever. If I offended anyone in Concord, New Hampshire, I'm sorry. So that Concord team, they're 2-3. They haven't looked exceptional thus far this year. Lost 2 in a row. And they'll be playing our Kent State Golden Flashes, which also is just another way of saying lightning. I'm pretty sure had to be fancy about it because of Kent State. More than half of the students at Kent State smoke weed every day. My parents went there. They can attest to that. Pop brownies were a big deal in the 70s. It's an art school. So we'll shift that over to the NBA, where plenty of players smoke weed all the time right before games. J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony. He's making a comeback with the Blazers, I guess, or something. They're showing him missing shots and saying, good to see same old Carmelo in the league. I mean, why have Carmelo Anthony when you can just have Chetty Osman? Spend a whole lot less money for somebody who's not all that good. So Cavaliers have now fallen to 4-10, losers of 4 straight. Pretty sure that's the right number. Not exactly been close contests since that loss to the Sixers in Philadelphia. They lost by 1 point, had a chance to win it, but it didn't happen. And that's okay. You're not going to win every ball game, especially not this team. But, now you're sitting at 4-10. You got to turn things around. And it's haven't delved into the next opponent as of yet. But, that's something I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Because today we're talking about what happened last night. And certainly wasn't good. He gave up 43 points in the second quarter of that loss. And what a loss it was. It was rough. It's a bad game. Just out and out. Oh, I keep turning up the one that the mic's not even plugged into anymore. It's in this one. All right. There we go. Now I feel better. Boy, I am dumb. Don't mind me, folks. That was stupid. Anyhow, your Cleveland Cavaliers, their defense certainly didn't show up in the second quarter. I mean, that's giving up a point every 15 seconds. It's bad. It's rough. 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds. There's 12 minutes a quarter. No, hell yeah. I was right first. Every 15 seconds. 15 seconds. They're scoring a 2-pointer every 30 seconds. Miami Heat was doing last night. I didn't bother with Heat stats. It just saddened me more. I don't even know who's on this team. We played them twice. Played the Knicks twice already. I don't understand basketball scheduling. Doesn't make sense. I've already played the Mavericks twice. Only played 14 games. So Kevin Love led the squad. He had 25 points. He put in a valiant effort. He was all right. Colin Sexton scored 19 of his own on 8 of 16 shooting. Now this is something that if you've watched our first episode of The Calm in the Storm, which Anton and I do together, second episode will be recorded soon. What is going on there with Sexton is the debate of, is he hoisting up too many shots? Is his field goal percentage not very good? 50%, that's adequate in the NBA for a shooter. But to put up 19 points on 8 of 16 shooting, that's about what you expect from your two guard. That's slightly above average, not great. It's okay. You need about 2 guys on this team, though, who are going to score you 20 points a night. It's what you need to have happen. If you have any shot in the NBA anymore nowadays, it's what you got to have. Larry Nance Jr. in the starting role. He started at center for Tristan Thompson, who was out night off. He had 16 points. Nance Jr. doing all right. He's okay. Garland scored 10. That's your starting point guard. He's proving to be a decent point guard. And Kelly Clarkson, 12 off the bench. That's your other guy. That's the unfortunate thing. He's got to score about 18 a night for you guys to win games as the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's where that problem lies, is Clarkson's got to be your 2 or 3 scorer. When he's only putting up 12, and Larry Nance Jr. Did better than he did. That's going to hurt you. The thing that stood out to me, Cedi Osman, your starting small forward, scored 3 points. Just 3 points. That's all Cedi got you. And Chedi's showing that he's not really a scorer on this team. He's not. I mean, is his defense really good? Obviously, if you're giving up 43 points in the second quarter, anybody who played defense in that quarter wasn't playing very much defense at all. Nobody was playing D. And so where do you go from there? What do you do? Do you change the lineup a little? Does Beeline need to, run these guys more? He's done a very good job of coaching them. He did throughout the first 11 or so games. These last 3, they were bad. It was bad. So turn around, pick up some of that grit and determination you were showing up until the end of the Sixers game. Past that, and it's like as soon as the tip-off occurred, and I don't know, whatever the hell the next game was. Was that the game against the Mavs? You've looked bad. 4 straight now. You've looked just bad. At home, on the road, all of it. It's like it doesn't matter. Wherever you're playing right now, you're looking bad. So Cleveland Cavaliers need to turn that around. And that's really all I have basketball-wise. Keep following Kent State. Kalen Bennett. Awesome young man. Great story there. Got this kid named Pippen who's not too bad. I don't really have a ton more on the Kent State thing. 5 o'clock tonight. Only tough thing is it's not like you can just watch everything. They don't, there's so much stuff happening, and even though almost everything is filmed anymore, not like you can just find a Kent State basketball game. Like you want to just turn it on. Maybe on the radio somewhere. That'd be awesome. Tell me though. Any of those stations up here? So there's that, and those are things. And I just want to remind everybody also that this is WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network. The views and opinions of this program don't express those of ownership. Ownership is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. Just that, I said that ownership here at WBBN, the Warren Brothers Broadcasting Network, is vehemently against cronyism and nepotism. Executive producer Dad.
Okay.
And you can ask, executive producer Dad or my co-host, my brother, or the number of friends that I have who will occasionally listen to the program, how against nepotism and cronyism we are here. Let's see here. Play the music, do traffic and weather, get to some ads. Where's the song? There it is.
Talk about the Browns and the Dolphins.
Yeah, usually I do that pregame on Fridays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've got no reason to apologize. You're the executive producer.
I wonder if you're going to mention it today.
I certainly could. First of all, I'm going to mention traffic. And the traffic I'm going to mention is pay attention in parking lots. Drive the correct way. The arrows are painted there for a reason. Don't make that guy's job pointless. In the weather, it's 40 degrees and mostly cloudy. We can expect a high of 53. It happens at 9 p.m. tonight. Climate change? Heck yeah. I'm all about global warming. You got to be kidding me. If Paul is calling right now, of course he is. I told you about 12:30. It's 12:32. So that means I got to pause the song, stop the updates, all that other stuff. Here we go. Pause this. He's going to get all mad because I didn't answer right on time. Assuming this is Paul even. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, this is Paul.
Hey, so just a real quick question. Is it that you weren't able to call until now, or you forgot that thing about 12:20 that we had talked about?
I didn't have a chance to call, right?
That's fine. If we got to make it 12:30, just I know.
Yeah, well, just for today, probably. I don't know.
Okay, good to know. So you're calling?
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're talking. What's up?
I'm in Green Bay right now.
Right. And what are you doing in Green Bay, Wisconsin? All right.
I'm having a interview at a radio station, WKTT.
Wait, it was WKTT?
Yes, or WKKT.
WKKT?
Yeah.
All right, so you're at WKKT. Wait, when's the interview?
And the interview is at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. So you have a little bit of time.
Yeah, but Mike the Telos guy is still with me. I don't like he's with me, but
yeah, he's following you around.
Interesting lady who,
wait, did you say it was WFPP?
There's an interesting lady at the FTD.
Yeah, WFPP.
What's the say that again?
Because it's WFPP that you're at, right?
Yeah, WFPP.
All right. Well, hopefully you're at the right place, because I mean that's just what it says here on your Facebook thing that you always put up.
Yes.
Okay. So was it WPFT? WFPP?
No. I'm at that radio station, and there's an interesting lady there. They call her Hot Donna.
Oh, Hot Donna, huh?
Unfortunately, yep. Well, she's Hot Donna Foreman now.
Uh-huh.
And, she has a couple children.
She's just telling you all of this before you called me?
Well,
did you stop at the Hub, and did Mitch Hedberg give you fries?
yes.
Sure. All right.
I didn't lose a leg in Vietnam, man. But, yeah, we'll probably And,
Yeah.
But I was told that Arnold in Milwaukee, that was a fun fight. It only lasted for just a couple seconds because all Morse did was just freeze Ben Harper.
And how some guy, what? No, go ahead. Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, and then there was Laverne and Shirley, and Bob was there too, but he is out. He's like really out. He's not like how he used to be. All he said was, to get a little bit of fun of it, I think, what's the best grade you in school? But, yeah, and then Philadelphia, I was no walk for Green Day, or Cuba, or Nevada. We passed by Wisconsin Petting Zoo.
Is it all just cows? Like it's a petting zoo, but it's just cows.
Yes, it's just cows.
Was that it for real, or are you just saying that because I made a dumb joke?
It was mostly cows.
Mostly, all right. There was a pig, couple pigs. You got to have bacon.
But I want to tell you about this. But the interesting things, this radio review I'm going to have, they also want to test me with this guy who used to play on the Green Bay Packers. He was a place kicker for Packers in the 90s. They said that he did great on the team.
Yeah.
Between 1991 and 1999 on the Packers.
Yeah, according to your post, it says Hal Devlin, right?
The thing about him was they adopted a dog named Bingo.
Oh, Bingo was a dog. All right. I had a feeling Bingo was a damn dog.
And when Bingo died in 97,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks before the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
the Packers lost the Super Bowl.
What?
Packers!
What?
Oh, that's just somebody else.
Yeah.
Packers! Super Bowl! But I think that's going to be a great interview. Besides, this radio station has Packers games. They're going to play against the Niners this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, the Packers, I think that is for real. They're actually playing the Niners. Did you say something, Paul? Paul? Hey, he's calling back. Caller, you're on the air. Yes, hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, it's still me. I still couldn't hear you again, but what were you going to tell me?
So it is the fact that the Packers are playing the Niners. Is that up there in Green Bay, or are you just gonna hang around and watch that nonsense or something?
I'll be home soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's that sarcasm in your nonsense. But
Oh, me sarcastic? Never.
sarcasm is anger's mean cousin, you know. But
Wait, sarcasm is whose cousin?
what'd you say?
Sarcasm is whose cousin?
Whose cousin?
You just said it. Sarcasm is whose cousin?
Anger's cousin.
Oh, is it now? Well, I guess we just proved that point, didn't we?
Yes, Sparky. Here's Sparky. Well, yeah, I just can't wait for this interview. Hot Donna's going to interview me, and then I get to talk to the Hal Devin.
Yeah,
Also in the Football Hall of Fame this year, they might. I don't know. Probably the short how Brett Favre and again about Bingo the dog. But I will hope to see you soon.
Yep. And I wish you weren't such a liar, seeing as Chris Jackie was their kicker. What?
Interview with Pat.
Hey, Paul.
Married, but I'll talk to you later.
Hey, Paul.
Mark?
You know Hal Devlin? He's lying to you, whomever he is. Chris Jackie was the kicker of the Packers from 89 to 96. This Devlin guy. Whatever, Paul. Paul is a liar. Well, that's great. I even doubt he's in Milwaukee. Just sounds like another one of his stories. A crazy liar for a brother. It's too bad I'm so anti-nepotism and cronyism. Otherwise, I'd just fire him. But I'm so anti-cronyism and nepotism, I'll keep my own brother hired, even though he doesn't deserve the position that he has. I shouldn't be paying him $50,000 a month. That's not true. I don't pay him anything. Just fire him from being my own brother. Well, anyway, so that happened. That was, at least it was only 10 minutes long or something. Thanks, Paul, for calling, even though you're not listening because you never listen to the show. That was the stupidest. Anyway. So, in the waiting, I mean, the Browns play the Dolphins this Sunday. And I guess I've kind of, avoided the discussion because I hate Browns fan. Like you're out there. It's only like 10% of you. You make up a particular. You're what the nation sees when they show us for whatever reason, because for some reason you're what represents us. We've already won this game against the Dolphins. I mean, there's no way we could just crap the bed completely and lose to the stinking Dolphins. I mean, it's not like it's the Bengals. There's no guarantees in football. The Bengals, as an opponent, just about come as close to a guarantee as you can get. They're 0-10. They're starting some real awful quarterback. People were talking about the Dolphins doing a tank job. The Dolphins have looked better in recent weeks. Sure, not really good or anything, but certainly better. And, my problem with that is that people are just acting like, oh, the Browns are just going to win. It'll be a cakewalk. It's a home game against the Dolphins. First of all, you haven't looked very good at home, aside from these last 2 weeks. You won those 2 games. Yeah, the Dolphins are sitting at 2-8, and they did lose their last game that they played. But why can't I just go back 1 week? That'd be so nice. It's one week backwards. You won't let me? Come on. Just to schedule the rest of the season. That's fine. So the Dolphins just came off of a loss. Oh, it was to the Bills. To the Bills, who look like a decent team. They're kind of good. But they don't know what they're doing. They went and they made a trade for Rosen. They're still playing Fitzmagic at times, I think. Whatever the hell it is they want to do down there. They completely gutted their roster. I think they had Nate Orchard starting as a defensive end. As much as I liked Nate Orchard when he was here, I mean, he fit his role well. I think he was a linebacker. He made his name on special teams. And the guy was a tackler. He did that really well for the most part. He's not a starter in the NFL. He'd actually be kind of decent in whatever this linebacker scheme is that you've cooked up. If you had, a real stud in there, you have 4 guys. Orchard would be the 4th. Schobert's played well these last couple weeks. So even with Jake's dislike for him and my, indifference between slight liking. I love how Browns fans all of a sudden they want him re-signed. We got to re-sign this guy. Don't let him walk. Forget those first 7 weeks. But he was having a tough time finding guys, He's chasing behind a guy to make sure that he doesn't pay attention to the quarterback. He's in front of him, but now behind him because he's running after a running back after 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and so the quarterback can just pick up 20, just run past him and wave like, "Hey, Schobert." Huh? Oh, it's a good thing I'm covering my guys. Wait a minute, the guy with the ball's running. Quarterback went past me. He did have 2 picks and like 7 tackles in the last game. And it's an all right thing that Schobert's constantly up there in tackles because a good team has a linebacker lead them in tackles and probably a defensive end lead them in sacks. If your defensive tackle, he's there to just like knock guys over. Your defensive tackle, if he leads your team in tackles or sacks, he's either really good or your team is really bad. Same's true with defensive backs. If your defensive back is leading your team in tackles, you've got a problem. Unless he's like Troy Polamalu, which I think he may have done. He's a safety playing linebacker. But I digress. I'm going off on a tangent here, basically about how the Browns need that one linebacker guy. James Collins was almost that guy. You basically need Brian Urlacher. I keep mentioning him every time I discuss this formation that we run on defense. A guy who retired like 10 years ago, and it's just more of a type that you want. So it's trying to remember who the one real dominant linebacker is. That guy doesn't necessarily exist anymore. It's all about defensive ends and D backs. Your D tackles and linebackers are all right. These are guys on the team. The positions themselves don't matter as much, and they're not as sexy. Linebackers are never sexy, honestly. Take a look at Jack Lambert. Oh, scary, ugly, toothless aggression. Let's see here. David texted me. Oh, more text. This one's probably from Paul. Watch for whatever Paul's going to have to say here. Again, then he's. It's not like I'm mad at him about when he called. I think he did it on accident, but it's like it's tough because if you've had a conversation with a person, then they just do whatever. Anyway, after you've had the like you've talked about it, you've set the ideal in place. It's there, right? And if you forget, that's fine. I don't mind the forgetting. But then it's like, oh, what was the point of even having the conversation in the first place? Even if it was a perfect phone call, the best phone call, why even have a conversation? Another reason why I text more. It's in print. Can't deny it. All right. Evidence. It's proof. That's why they keep bringing up the WhatsApp stuff. It's hilarious to me. And I guess it's the problem that I have with it because it's like texting, but it's not. And I deleted my WhatsApp thing because I thought it would help me with this stuff. You know, is you got to have Twitter, you got to have Snapchat. Don't have Snapchat; it's not worth it.
Snapchat.
Right? They should call it Fap Chat. More strippers from states I've never heard of, like Delusion. Probably where the one was from. They search you out. You don't even have to look. No, it's borderline pornography. Yeah. And that's what's funny is that's the way it started out in the first place. It was for teenagers because the pictures would disappear after a few seconds or whatever once they were viewed. So they could send each other filthy pictures and then it'd be gone. In real life, Snapchat wouldn't have lasted more than 5 years, but we don't live in the real world anymore. It's the kind of stuff we want. That Congressman Weiner who showed his junk to somebody else should have done it via Snapchat. Text messages can be saved. Text messages are permanent. Text messages mean something at this point. Fap Chat and Instaflex and Fapagram and even Facebook. Facebook, meh. Emails, never liked the email thing. It's whatever. I don't care if you don't care. So to tie up the football stuff for today, because I don't even have Ohio State stuff. I was going to do that tomorrow too. It's tomorrow's predictions day. It's Friday. Friday predictions. Well, Thursday NFL predictions with Dave. More reason why I should have done a little research on it. But I'm at such a malaise with the NFL right now. I mean, we just had that Raiders-Chargers game on Monday. That wrapped up last week. Tonight we have a game. I don't even know who's playing. I care so little about that right now at this moment in time because it doesn't really directly affect me right at this moment in time. I'll give you the NFL scenarios. Oh, people were going nuts about this on the Twitter yesterday or the day before because there's a way. I don't know if it's in ESPN. I think it's ESPN on one of these websites because I don't think it was in Madden, the video game. You punch in whatever simulation it is. I don't know how it comes to this. It's got the Browns being the second wild card team as of this week because of the way the rest of the schedule falls into place. It virtually gives it to them. Despite the fact that you have the Buffalo Bills at 7-3, the Bills don't even make it in the simulation. It's the Raiders. The Raiders are the 5 seed. The Texans go on to win their division, which is another problem that I have with it. And the Steelers fall apart, I guess. And if they look anything like they did last Thursday, they will fall apart. They'll have a 7-9 season. 8-8 at best for Pittsburgh. Although I don't have that either because honestly, they're playing a very weak schedule. Steelers should win a lot of the games that they have left too. But it has Indy, Tennessee, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indy 6-4, the Colts, the 5-5 Tennessee Titans, and the 4-6, same exact record as the Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars. Each one of these teams magically don't make the playoffs. I think it has Tennessee losing out and going 5-11. Whatever simulation this is, it's posted, it's there. I find it very difficult to believe, especially since Indy, Tennessee, and Jacksonville all play each other a lot. So maybe they'll beat up on each other. And if each team wins the games that they're supposed to win, they'll all pretty much wind up the way I thought the AFC North was going to. Except you have the Ravens who are playing next level and somehow, for some reason, are maybe the best team in the AFC. Them and the Patriots are already destined to play in the AFC Championship game. At least after 10 games. We'll see if the Chiefs can turn it around. But you have the Buffalo Bills sitting at 7-3, and somehow they magically don't make the playoffs. They go 2-4 the rest of the way. They were really that bad. At home against Denver this weekend, they're not going to win that game. Sure, they go to Dallas. They host the Ravens. And they go to Pittsburgh, and they go to New England. Those all could be losses. I'm with you there. I can understand that. But that then therefore means Pittsburgh wins at home against Buffalo. Pittsburgh's heading to Cincinnati this weekend. I mean, you're not going to gain ground on the Steelers, Browns fans. Not this Sunday. And you better hope. I have the Steelers winning in Pittsburgh against the Browns. The Browns can only afford to lose one more game at 4-6. And that matchup in Arizona is a question mark to me. It's no guarantee you're just going to beat Kyler Murray and the new look Cardinals, even though they've struggled the last 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not ready to chalk that back up as an automatic W like I did early in the season, before the season began even. That stuff. So, I don't know. I see this fantasy world that us Browns fans live in, at least some of us. I try not to. I mean, I'm already looking at next year's schedule, though, and seeing 10-6 as a possibility. You know, as with any coefficiency, as the NFL schedule is, you stick to your point, whatever that was, and go about 2 wins or losses either way. Any year that can happen. That like there were 4-12 Browns teams that really should have been 6-10, could have been 2-14. It happened. I know we get really upset about like, oh, if only like 5 things had gone differently in that game, we would have won it. Point to like 8 games that year. Should have been 12-4. Charlie Fry was a good quarterback, or whatever it was. I was a Colt McCoy fan. I won't lie about it. I liked him. He was a good kid. Well, Paul, yet again, because of his inability to even bother with bits or time or anything that we do on this show, because he just doesn't care and he doesn't like me because he's selfish. See, if I say all these things, if he hears any of them, he's going to get all mad at me. If he's forgetful, I'll live with it. Paul's just forgetful. So it's just that maybe we should. I don't like the idea of having to do pre-production meetings like all the time to reiterate stuff that we've done. That should just be. Write it down if you won't remember it. It's not even me being mad at you, Paul. If you watch this, just be better. I mean, I'm already complete garbage. I need you to carry this show. You're the only person people like. No one likes me. How can you have the Warren Brothers Sports Show and you have the worst brother on? In the traffic, pay attention in parking lots. It's that time of year. No reason to be driving 20, 30 miles per hour in a parking lot. What's wrong with you? The store will still be there. You'll still get your shopping done. Just because you need your coffee enema from Starbucks. Screw you. Drive 5 to 10 miles per hour in a parking lot like a normal human being. So there's your traffic. In the weather, 40 degrees, mostly cloudy today. We're going to reach a high of 53 around 9 p.m. tonight. Global warming, heck yeah. I'll take some more climate change. Bring it my way. Let those polar ice caps melt. At this point, 53 at 9 p.m. at night, towards the end of November. Yeah, I'll take that every day. In the news, local authorities set traps to nap porch pirates. First of all, the fact that porch pirating is a thing and that it's called being a porch pirate. You get all these peg-legged, here's your porch pirate right here. And he comes up onto your porch and he's got his eye patch on and he's like, "Arr, I'm going to invade your perch." Not perch, porch. Good thing I bought that. I was able to use it again. Anyway. And they get up there and they steal your nonsensical, worthless crap from your porch. You just had to have it delivered there when you're not going to be home anyway. And then when the news reports it, and they got the little thing on the bottom of the screen there, and it says local authorities set traps to nap porch pirates. No one has ever napped a person before. You knock him on the head and he goes out for a nap. That's how you can tell whatever you hit him with would have actually done some real damage and not be just a football helmet. Because then they'd be out for a nap. You nab people. The police officer are going to nab this guy. Oh, look out. Here comes... What the hell's the guy's name? Been terrible with names these last couple weeks. I don't know what's going on. Losing my mind. Losing my damn mind. I'm tired of people. And they're like celebrating their stupidity. Someone actually had that scroll, the bottom of an actual newscast. Between channels 4 and 6 is where you find them on the TV. Someone actually typed that out, read it back to themselves, if they did. It should have gone past someone else's eyes. So a whole second person actually thinks that the phrase is that authorities are going to nap. Look out, everybody. What are the guys' names? I can't even make a good reference right now. Better look out, Bugsy Mahomes. Oh no. Sheriff's out to go get Cagney and Lacey. It's not even the right people. I'm so out of it. I need to take a nap.
What you on now, son?
I'm going to just do this live read and then, I don't know. I'll ask you.
Well, I was kind of wondering, what do you think the NFL is going to give any leeway to Myles Garrett or not? Or is it going to stick to their guns now? They came out with their hardline decisions right out of the gate.
Well, yeah, we'll just go right into that. So far, like, because, it's just opinion and speculation, and just from what I see, there's murmurings about it being 5 games. I don't trust anything that I see, because I have no reason to believe anybody's sources or other sources and third-hand information and stuff. Well, right, Congress likes to believe that stuff. We have particular reporters in this city who will take fourth-hand information, and they won't even just print it. They'll treat it like it's gospel truth or something. But it's I don't just go the route that I do in most of the things that I do, because I'm either wishy-washy or anything else that too many people will make accusations of, because they have to have opinions as soon as a thing happens. Myles Garrett is a thug, blah, 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 and then everybody changes their story a week or so later. Oh, I always thought the best of him. Shut up. You're a liar. I mean, outside of you, myself, and a half dozen people that I saw directly say it, people were like Uncle Joe, Bill Burr, my buddy Jake, and Mitch and Uncle Joe. I think I named somebody twice in there. There were like a half dozen of us who were like, can we just wait? I mean, I watched the footage. It looks like plenty of people are to blame. Right. Did everyone forget that Myles Garrett's like the football equivalent in this town to what everybody perceives Frankie Lindor to be, which Frankie Lindor actually is, Mr. Smile and the nicest guy, and why everybody needs him to get re-signed right now and everything. Myles Garrett's the same dude. He's nice as hell. And it's tough because he plays such a difficult contact sport where you have to be a mean jerk on the field, and things are going to happen, and your testosterone and your violent, toxic masculinity and the stuff that we all praise when it's a commercial, or we compare it to wrestling, or we watch a Saturday morning game day and these jackasses who couldn't make it in the NFL, or were good head coaches or whatever it is, however they wind up on these daises, and they're there talking, and they're like, it's war. The head coaches of the programs who are there now all throughout college, they're training these kids to be murderers. Kill them. And then so something borderline like that happens in an NFL game where it's the pinnacle of the murderers, and they're like, oh, I'm shocked. Oh, the thing that we always thought would happen happened. And it's just like a bunch of other things that happened. Oh. No, we have to live in a culture where like everything that happens is the worst or the best thing that's ever happened. That sliced bread isn't exciting. Well, it's not. But yeah, unless it's a really good damn bread. That one bread I bought, that's some good stuff. But what I'm saying is Myles Garrett is not this awful, horrible human being, and right away everybody was ready to throw him in jail. Like people were talking about, like, he'll never play another game of football again. He doesn't deserve to. They should throw him in jail. And people started to show their true nature on stuff. I think, you know what? I got to give Jimmy Malone props. Jimmy Malone wasn't a jerk about it. A lot of the baseball women on Twitter were pretty understanding of it. And mind you, it's the situation made for exceptionally weird bedfellows. You know how they say war makes for strange bedfellows? This politics. Yes, politics makes for strange bedfellows. Yeah. So does this instance. I saw people who would stand beside Colin Kaepernick for his rights to kneel in protest during football games, and they became the same people who wanted to vilify Myles Garrett for his actions on a football field during a game in which there's no it comes across to implicit versus explicit. He did not have explicit intent premeditated to doing something wrong. And yeah, what he did was wrong. But that would have been like saying if we're here at a baseball game, we're playing a baseball game, and I'm up to bat, and I'm batting, that pitcher throws it high and tight my first at bat. All right, there then, that's fine. It's because I've hit a couple home runs off of him earlier in the game. Oh, then he does it again in the same at bat. This time though, instead of my face, my beautiful face, and my delicate head, as thankfully I've got this helmet on, he won't hit me in the temple. This time he's aiming for my balls. Oh, he threw the ball at my balls. You can't have that. Come on, guy. And then so this time, since the catcher dropped the ball, I whipped the ball back at him. Oh, this time now. Well, now he's throwing the ball at me and he's hit me. And he's hit me square in the junk. My precious, delicate junk. I'm not wearing a cup. Well, I'm going to be pretty mad. I'm probably not running at him with the bat. I take off my own helmet and I hit him with it. I think that's a good enough metaphor. It's a relatively similar analogy. If I'm getting suspended for more than 20 games as a baseball player for that, well, that's messed up. As a hitter, the pitcher had intent in what he did, and he was just getting mad at me for stuff I did in the ball game, hitting a couple of home runs, and that's it. Now he's going to start throwing at me, especially after the catcher had to hold me back after the second one, maybe even talk to me for a minute, like, hey, come on, man. I know he's throwing at you. I'm not even calling it. So, I mean, dude, something. Maybe you guys can talk about it later or something. I don't know what this guy's problem is. He's a live wire. He's crazy. I'm not calling that pitch. Come on, man. So I don't know. At the end of it all, Myles Garrett gets 4 games. It's what I said from the beginning. It's what I'm saying now. If he gets more than that, it's only because the league is saying what the narrative needs to be. If they take anything I tried real hard to look at Mason Rudolph's apology, not as a Browns fan, but as a, like, when I read it, it's like, okay, this is fine. That reads nicely. Apparently they should have had anybody else in the world make the apology for him. I could have sounded less sarcastic. And I literally cannot sound not sarcastic. Like, I try real hard. I get not invited to important things because, I sound like this. Mason Rudolph sounded more sarcastic than this. It's just my tone. It's my natural voice. It's how I sound.
Do I hear the old man's take?
Go ahead. Executive producer Dad with Myles Garrett take.
The NFL has painted themselves in a corner they can't back out of. The only thing they can do is adjust the original decision and get rid of the indefinitely one and suspend it for the rest of the year. That's what they're going to do. But they'll up somebody else's suspensions to make up for it.
Well,
that's what I think.
And the thing is they only handed out 3 suspensions right after the incident. I'm surprised they didn't go back and suspend other guys for, like, leaving the sidelines. I don't know if that's still under review. Somebody should get suspended something. I mean, Okunjobi's decision was already made. I don't know with Pouncey because, quite frankly, 3, I thought it was going to be 2 or 3. So 3's about right.
They're going to up it on Rudolph.
Right, so instead of just the fine, he's got to sit out a game or 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that'll be the compromise.
Right.
But Garrett's out for the rest of the season. That's what I think.
Well, and that's the point with the whole thing is they did the wrong thing by not putting a number on it and using the word indefinite because there's nothing in the language that allows that.
Exactly.
It's why the NFLPA, there's a lot of unions out there, and some of them are pretty good unions. The NFL, for all the bemoaning of it, actually has a pretty good union.
Yeah.
And they know their language. Some of these players have some of the best lawyers around. Hello, Epic. And all sorts of other things. But at the end of it all, they'll probably just put a definitive 6 on it. They might even just do the 5. And that's why I'm going with 4, because the precedence of the incognito incident, where he was the victim, if you will, and that was done, even if it was in the heat of the moment, with slightly more intent than Garrett hitting Rudolph.
Well, I'm going to the politics of the game as well, which you brought up.
Exactly. And
the politics of the game in today's market would insist that Myles Garrett was suspended for the rest of the year. Because people don't want to see that kind of behavior. They're upset about that kind of behavior. They're concerned about that kind of behavior. And the public wants to soften football, and not the way Tom Brady does
it. Yeah. Or the way that his owner, the owner of the Patriots, gets his balls softened. Well, hey, okay, so dual points here. And first of it being that the positive part of it is the person who makes the decision at the end of it all is an outside arbitrator, former player in the league. Guy's name is Thrash. And even if he sticks with NFL swaying, at most it should just be the end of this season. Yeah. And then Garrett meets with the league and he can play again, reinstated, all this stuff. It's actually, we could go into the whole Josh Gordon thing and why that is. It gives Cleveland Brown a perceived appearance to be worse than he actually is. But that's a whole nother long.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Discussion. Oh, but you're partially right. I mean, you're actually very close to right because we won't know until tomorrow. Exactly. But your insights are very much online. Right. But your insights are very much in line with, and this is why you brought a buddy of mine that I do the show with on Sunday said hi, Dad.
Oh, okay.
And so let me tie this together, is that it's the people who are watching and want the game to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem with those people, and it's why you bring up a great point, and I'm going to elaborate on it. They're the same people who are bored with baseball, and they're the same people who don't like Chick-fil-A for the reasons in which they don't like them. They don't eat at Chick-fil-A. They don't watch baseball for about, I don't know, at least 5 of the 6 to 7 months of the season, and they're not watching football every Sunday. In fact, they probably very rarely watch games. But they're going to claim it's because it's too violent. Because I hear there's too many violins in football. We got to stop the violins. Get more fiddles. And the problem with it is even I, as a big football fan, honestly, I don't think the game's too violent. I don't. I mean, this isn't in comparison to other things. This isn't problems that fights occur on field from time to time. The sport is contained chaos. It is contained violence. It's why the metaphors to war are used. I'm not a proponent of such things. I'm not going to flat out say, yeah, let's all murder everybody. But I can't tell you how many times that I would be sitting watching a game at a drinking establishment or whatever it is, and you've got, 20 people around. 10 of them are just yelling, tackle them, get them, hit them. So I up the stakes a little bit. After everybody's calmed down, I blurt out, murder them, rape them, kick his next of kin, hunt them down. Because it's borderline, that's where fans are. People who are actually watching the football games. There's a particular local guy who likes to get into it, and his claims are that betting has a lot to do with it. It certainly does. That's just outcomes. That's just monies. That's number game stuff. The actual sport is a futile exercise in how violent people can be. And that's how it's set up. And that's why you don't change baseball. Don't change baseball for what it is. Baseball is somewhat cerebral. Baseball involves defensive shifts and bringing in pitchers to face one guy because it's a lefty-lefty matchup. The people who complain about that stuff, and then you try to fix it by saying defenses have to only play particular ways, saying that pitchers have to face 3 batters, that there's a time clock, you can only have so many mound visits. It's the thing that people who get bored by those things are the ones who aren't watching the game most of the time anyway. And I'll be honest, those things can be kind of boring. But I'll enjoy a good pitching matchup or even pitching duel throughout the whole game or any of that other stuff because it's just as important to the game. Just as in football, pushing one another and a back and forth are just as important to the game. Just as, I'm going to say it, and it's just because it's Chick-fil-A and they're the one in the news right now. If those are those man's beliefs and they are that important to him, then he doesn't have to open on Sundays and he can give his money that he earned to whomever he wants. And it's that simple. That's all there is to it. All there is to it. You got a bunch of people who never buy a sandwich from him anyway, getting mad at him. I mean, what? Like there's all these people just like secretly eating Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Like, I feel so awful about this. I'm giving money to a terrible man. Is he a terrible man? I don't know. Like, we're all saints. And I think that's where I'm going to tie it back to the Myles Garrett thing. And where I'm going to wrap that up on this segment with it. Is the particular guy that I never would have expected to start off with as brash a statement as he did, almost condemning Myles Garrett and saying he should be suspended indefinitely and all that stuff's fine. And if you added one more A to his name, he'd be AAA. And he's a friend of mine. And I was kind of upset to see his statement on it on Twitter because his job is more important to him than his convictions. His convictions. At this point, I'll never have a career in the industry, and I don't care, because I'm happier having my convictions and my beliefs, at least to the extent in which I can say it and do it without, actually going to prison, I suppose, because at some point, I'm the biggest anti-establishment thing I can do, or at least have done, is smoke on air. Is that Myles Garrett? Ah, crap, I lost my train of thought. I hate that. I had a good damn point, too. At least in my opinion, I did. Why does the music seem like it's too loud? You get people who say that they can't hear it at all, and then you got other people saying that it's too loud. You don't have to agree with his beliefs to eat damn fine chicken. And I think that's it at the end of the day. Is that, same goes the other way. Some big damn atheist had like Satan's Chicken Company, but it's real spicy and tasted good, and it'd be like, well, I mean, might not go there as often. But this is the best chicken around. I don't eat fast food that often. But the fact that is that people will put their job or whatever it might be, and demand that other people feel the same way that they do, and get indignant when they don't. Yeah, feel whatever way you want. Within reason, do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. Just let me be me too then. So when you condemn me for certain things, I'm not exactly I'm going to be mildly flippant, and I'm going to respond the way that I respond. And I'm going to sound sarcastic because I'm not telling you how to live your life. Don't tell me how to live mine. I guess that was the best I could do. Damn it. I had something good about Myles Garrett, too. Regardless of the amount of time he gets on the suspension, let him still be him. Actually a good damn guy. I'm going to vilify him for one act. I mean, I understand that. sentiment. Certain people's opinions of who I may or may not be are different based on whom those people are. That's just how it is. I get the feeling we might not be hearing from Dave today. Wait a minute. The phone's ringing. It says I missed the call. Darn it. Call him back.
What's happening, Mark?
Hello, caller, Dave. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right, good. Not too much. I just want to remind everybody that this is Dave Hughes of This Guy's Painting. You can contact him at 440-715-3282 or message This Guy's Painting on Facebook. If you need some painting done, Dave Hughes and This Guy's Painting will do it for you. Mention the word Warren, get a free estimate. So remember, everybody, call 440-715-3282 or message This Guy's Painting on Facebook, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate if you use the name Warren. Hey, Dave.
What's happening, Mark? Yeah, I just finished up a job in University Heights.
Hey, University Heights. I appreciate you texting me and letting me know that you're going to call later. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I was wrapping up, so I didn't know when I was going to get out of there, so I figured I'd send you a message.
You can message this phone number too if need be, if you have it saved any particular way. I was able to read the other one too. I don't always check it though, unfortunately. Thankfully, I happened to look over because of the Paul stuff. Because Paul will just call whatever he feels like it and start talking. Like he'll send me the story the night before, and then he gets on air and he just starts talking. There was no hot Donna in what he wrote the night before. I have no idea what all that was.
Oh, right. I don't know either, man.
So hey, let's get into this football thing, because if I've only got about half an hour, we better be quick.
Right? Yeah. How good did you do last week? You know?
No, of course not. I even said earlier in the program, I was like, I got to start checking these like for real, because I'm really bad about it. Dallas did beat Denver. What?
Look, next year, I think you should go out to like ESPN or Yahoo or whatever, and let's do a Warren Brothers Sports Show group. And you could participate. Paul can if he wants to. Your dad can participate, and any other listeners. And we could all kind of compete together, you know.
That's an excellent idea, and especially because this is more fun than like what do they call that one kind of league, like a death league or a suicide league? Like if you don't pick the right team, you're out and all that stuff.
Yeah, the suicide.
Yeah, that thing's dumb. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, if we do this pick'em thing, and I'm not a gambler, and obviously you aren't really, but it's kind of at least fun for the pick'ems thing. I had a buddy who, this shows how old we are. He'd write them all out in a notebook. We'd submit our picks to him. He'd write them all out. We did that way for a few years. And it was just fun, a fun thing to do. We didn't do it against the spread or nothing. But since the site itself would set that up. Now, the nice thing about it too, and this is helping us out for one last week, is this is the final week of buys, I'm pretty sure.
Is it? I was going to say it's either week 12 or 13.
Oh, okay. I mean, if it turns out that there's I know there's at least 2 teams that have a bye this week. And I thought maybe it was 4, because there are 4 teams who have played more games than anybody else. One of them being the Cardinals. You know, they haven't had a bye yet. I hate that about the way the NFL set up.
Yeah, and they switch it up all the time. They're trying to figure out the right formula for it, and they really can't.
Have there be 3 bye weeks right in the middle of the season, and it might make for a little bit of boredom, but you can still figure it out, because there'd still be games to be played, even though it'd be far fewer. Heck, even make it last 5 weeks. them right in the middle of the season. Because if you got 17 weeks, you stick it right in the 8th week, and then 6 or 7 and 9 and 10 on the other two sides. And yeah, you got a bunch more teams off, but it's all right there instead of Arizona. Like the Browns had to do that a couple of years. And the one year they had their bye week 4, and another year they got their bye week 12. And it's just stupid.
Yeah, right. I don't like that at all. I like the middle of the pack, you know, even if you do 5 for the weeks or whatever. But yeah, something right along the middle. You give the majority of the NFL, you know, all the games off right there. And then you continue to play. Not this week 4 to week 12 or 13 bye weeks.
Oh, yeah. There are way too many bye weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
And because it gives no rhythm to that team.
Not to get too far off topic, but I heard there was some league in the NFL players association, or not the union and the league about the 18-game thing happening. So I think they're going to end up moving to 18 games in the next couple years.
I've heard rumors about it even being 17 games. That's a weird thing. I don't know. It's like a 17-game season. Like, you want to hear this one? How stupid it is that half the league would play 9 home games, and the other half would play 8 would play 8 home games. It's dumb. And then so it brings into question, well, if it's the year where the Jaguars only have 8 home games and they play in London every single year, that'd be unfair because then they'd only have 7 true home games. I mean, quite frankly, the only reason why 17 would make sense is that then the teams with the air quotes 9 home games, they could play one of them at the neutral site. You go off to Japan, or you could play the Mexico City game and all that other stuff. And then there's no competitive disadvantage, and that one team only has 7 home games as it stands right now.
And that's what one of the things that leaked out was. So maybe it was 17 and not 18. Maybe I said that wrong, but yeah, it was that every team was going to have a neutral site game as well.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought I just made that up now.
No, that's really, it's something that people are saying is leaking from these meetings.
Yeah, leaking.
Yeah, you got a plumber?
I'm a child. Well, hey, so anyway, let's get into these. I do like that you brought that point up. Maybe message me sometime. That's something that's good for a Wednesday show. Depending on how many games there were the night before or that upcoming night. That's the talking about the scheduling thing. That's not a bad bit. That's something I'll steal from you since you're giving it to me.
Yeah, it's yours, man. Free of charge.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, so
Yep.
well, yeah, I'd probably talk the schedule thing, but the fact that you brought up the 17 thing, or no, the 18 thing. I'm sorry, the 18 thing. Help stoke those fires in the old brain there. Move something from the back burner up to the front. Hey, all right, so let's get into these picks. What's the first game you got?
All right, well, tonight it looks like it's the Indianapolis Colts getting 3.5 points against Houston Texans. And once again, I'm going to read the home team second.
Yeah, I like that you do that. That's good stuff. I'm taking Houston.
Yeah. Houston, okay, I picked Houston as well. Should be a good game, though.
It really should.
And, next up, yeah, I think it will be. Both teams are playing pretty good.
All right.
Next up, we got the Buccaneers getting 4.5 against the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, that's tough. You know what? I'm taking Atlanta in that game.
Yeah, so I was reading their coverage quarterbacks are like the worst in the league from both teams. So that should be a good offensive game. And I'm going to go with the Falcons in that one, too. I think they've been putting it together the last few weeks. So I like them to win that game.
If I do... Oh, is that yours or mine? I think that's mine. Something in the background just turned on. Oh, that doesn't make sense. That's not it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm driving right now, so...
I highly doubt it's yours because it was a guy saying he was a pastor talking. And sometimes we watch this one particular thing, and sometimes it goes down a rabbit hole. But is it on my phone? Huh. Well, let's pretend it's not happening. And yeah, you're right with it. Since I do that one where I'm the king of the draft every now and again, maybe I'll pick one of those two guys to be my starting quarterback that day. Pick most of my offense from Tampa Bay and Atlanta.
Yeah, right. That whole position really has a good offensive scheme going. But Carolina's not bad. Even without Kennedy, they're putting it together. And then, of course, New Orleans.
So, what's next? What's the next game you got? Wait, who did you say you had?
Next, we have. I'm taking Atlanta.
Oh, okay. We both got Atlanta. All right.
Yeah. Next, we have the Denver Broncos getting 4.5 from the Buffalo Bills.
No, I got Buffalo in that one.
Okay, I took Buffalo also.
Oh, okay.
I said before the Browns game that the Browns were going to win out and the Bills were probably going to lose out, except for maybe 1 or 2 games. So I got the Bills, but I don't know. Denver might. I think Denver's going to play them good.
Right.
But I did pick the Bills in that.
I like that. That's where you're coming from with it. All right. So, what's the next game?
Next, we have the New York Giants getting 6.5 points against the Chicago Bears.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. But the Giants have a good offense.
Yeah, but the Bears' defense is good enough to stop the Giants' offense, and even for as bad as the Bears' offense has been, I mean, I get it on the 6.5. I mean, kind of. I don't know though. If I were a betting man, I'd actually put money on Chicago winning that game.
Yeah.
So I've got Chicago over the Giants.
Okay, I'm actually taking the Giants with the points in that one.
I mean, that's why it's not a bad call on your part there, because it's 6.5. That seems steep. Who in Las Vegas is just a giant, New York Giants fan? Just, it's almost what it seems like. It seems like a trap. All right, what's your next game? What you got?
All right, next we have a division game for us with the Pittsburgh Steelers giving 6.5 points to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I've got Pittsburgh all the way on that. They could win that game by 2 touchdowns. I don't care how bad Pittsburgh looked against us. Cincinnati's the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy game to pick. I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. Even though I think after last week, Mason Rudolph should be in some trouble. Maybe not as much as Myles Garrett, but definitely some. He probably should be playing this Sunday.
And even if Rudolph isn't playing, Hodges or whatever the kid's name is probably just as good as Rudolph.
Oh man, I would take a look at that running back at quarterback against the Bengals. I think Jalen Samuels or whoever they got over there. But yeah, the Bengals are just that bad. I would take the Steelers with anybody.
Right. I mean, me being a Browns fan, it's my hope that this is the Bengals' one win of the season. It'd be prime pickings for them. It's a home game. It's against the Steelers, but no, I can't. I can't see Pittsburgh losing to them. All right, what's your next game, man?
All right, next we have the Detroit Lions versus Washington Redskins, and Washington is getting 3.5.
Ooh, that's a tough one. But I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, I got the Lions as well in that one.
Well, we've had a lot more. Yeah, we've had a lot more in common this week than we've had the first couple of weeks.
All right, next we have the Oakland Raiders getting 2.5 from the New York Jets. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Oakland Raiders giving 2.5 points to the New York Jets.
One of the reasons why this intrigues me is it's like my favorite AFL matchup. Because, and I say that on purpose, because that goes back to like the 60s and these two teams being like the two best teams back then, with the Chiefs right around there. Man. Say the Jets are the home team? I actually have to refer to this. You know what? I have Oakland winning that game anyway.
I think Oakland's going to win that game.
All right.
I think they're going to cover as well.
Yeah, it's. I did a whole thing where I looked at the Browns' possibilities of making the playoffs, and like like more than half of it are the teams that are left in the South, and just that whole fight that's going to go on there, and it's just the Raiders are ahead of us too, because there was this thing that came out. I don't know if it was just one person's thoughts or if ESPN published the thing, but like a simulator as the Browns, as it stands right now, what it would take for them to be the wild card. And I did some of my own research on it too, and I'm like, that's taken a lot of losses for a lot of teams that have played better than the Browns have this year. But that was one of the games in Oakland and the Jets.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. I don't see, even if we run the table with every game, a lot of other stuff has to happen for it to work out right. And it's happened for other teams in certain years, but I don't expect that to happen. If it does, I'm grateful. If not, whatever.
If it does, it would feel like that was the plan all along. Hey, what's the next game you got?
All right, so next we have the Carolina Panthers getting 9.5 against the New Orleans Saints.
9.5. Oh, you know what? I'm still taking New Orleans.
Taking the Saints?
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints.
I am as well.
All right.
All right.
What you got next?
Next we have Seattle Seahawks getting 1.5 points against the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, you know what? I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah,
No.
that's an easy one.
Oh, wait. No. I'm taking Philly. Wait, no, I'm taking Philly over Seattle.
Oh, wow. Well, that's easy for me. I'm taking Seattle, and I'm getting 1.5 all day.
Yeah, I know. If for betting purposes, yeah, and I know that we're doing this, even though it's not for betting purposes, we're doing it for the points purposes. Even with that, I think Philly finally shows Seattle that this Seattle team, they got the nice record and everything, but isn't Seattle coming off a bye too or something probably?
I think they are, yeah. Russell Wilson's one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Nah, I just have this feeling about Philly. They're going to win the game. Of course, watch, you'll wind up being right because of the point spread, but no.
Josh Gordon and everything on that offense now?
Nah, that doesn't guarantee anything. Josh Gordon's so high, he doesn't know what's happening. I'm surprised he didn't get a suspension after getting cut from the Patriots.
No, I think it's that he's not high anymore, and that's his problem. Because when he was high, he was pretty damn good.
That's funny. He didn't feel any pain. He had no reason to worry about going over the middle. He wasn't going to feel it.
Right? It worked for him.
That's funny. Maybe it made him faster. That'd be really funny.
It could have, right?
It makes most people slower.
No, not him. I think it did make him faster.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Most people are like, man, I'm just going to eat some Doritos and take a nap. He's like,
Right. Go run 3 miles. All right. Next we have the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 3.5 points against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, this was one of the ones I was talking about. And this was one that I gave Tennessee. But the nice thing that it does is it helps the Browns leapfrog one of the teams that they got to beat to make a playoff push. But yeah, I have Tennessee beating Jacksonville on that.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Next, this is a pretty good game here. Oh, hold on 1 second, man. I'm trying to park. The lines are crooked.
Yeah, it's the lines.
Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys hitting 6.5 points against New England Patriots.
Nah, I'm taking New England.
I'm going with the Cowboys on that one with the points. I think that's going to be a good matchup.
I mean, I don't dislike it, and even when Dallas has lost this season, for the most part, they've been close games, but I can't see New England not winning this game by less than a touchdown.
I like to factor in garbage time touchdowns when I'm making some of these picks, and that one I kind of factored in garbage time touchdowns.
That's what makes it.
Bring the score. Yeah.
It winds up being 28-24 because even though it's 28-17 in those last seconds, Dak runs one in or Zeke or something. Oh, all right. Not bad. I like your thinking on that one. All right.
Yeah. And then we have the Sunday night matchup, which is the Green Bay Packers getting 3.5 points against the San Francisco 49ers.
Nah, I'm going San Fran. And so that game is in.
I'm picking Green Bay.
And so that game is in San Francisco then?
Yeah.
So Paul's going to show up at Lambeau Field on Sunday night and just be all by himself then?
Oh, man. He didn't get the message that it ain't in Green Bay?
Well, I mean, as of now, I'll be sure to tell him on tomorrow's show. Maybe you could just go to some bar up there. Huh?
Has he been on any of the shows lately?
He keeps calling in. I sent him out on assignment to. Oh wait, no, he got kidnapped. Remember?
Yeah. See, I didn't get to listen all last week. I was caught up doing some stuff just the day I called.
So between him, he found himself in a warehouse in Pittsburgh. Half blind, half deaf Amish guy rode him out to Philadelphia. His plane from Philadelphia got rerouted to Milwaukee, which I don't know how you pass Cleveland and then go to Milwaukee. I've only been on a plane a handful of times in my life, but I'm sure if you were to be rerouted, it wouldn't be to a further away place. I'm not sure. Too much fog. Passenger claiming he saw something on the wing of the plane. And so now Paul's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and just hanging out there with that.
Well, maybe you can find a cheese farm or something.
He said he went to a petting zoo today. I asked him if it was mostly cows there.
Was it? Sounds right.
I mean, you would figure a Milwaukee petting zoo would be like, let's say there's 100 animals there, 97 of them are cows. Maybe there's like a pig and a llama.
Well, I'd say the other 2 or 3 are probably like the herding dogs or whatever.
Ooh, herding dogs. There's got to be like a lassie there on that farm.
Yeah, right. All the cows, you need to break a little up somehow.
One sheep, because when the farmer's not interested in the wife that night, he's got to go see his side piece, a sheep. No, that's the rooster. The rooster's the fowl. Oh, bird humor. A W instead of an O. All right, so we got a couple more games left then?
I don't know if I gave my pick, but I'm picking Green Bay for that one. And so our Monday night game is the Baltimore Ravens giving the LA Rams.
I got the Rams in that one.
surprisingly do too. But I went with them because of the points, not because I'm picking against Baltimore necessarily.
I'm kind of doing both, but also because the Rams are at home. I can't see Baltimore going on the road to LA and beating them, even if they don't necessarily have the best home fans in the land. Even though that's because Baltimore did get that victory in New England, right? Or was that a game in Baltimore?
I don't know. See if I can pull it up real quick.
I mean, all I know is even for as much as I can't stand Baltimore and all this other stuff and everything else. I truly do think the Rams are a good team. I don't think last year was just some anomaly.
Yeah, I don't know. Their offense isn't. I mean, Todd Gurley got that contract, and I heard it's good, and he's had the absolute things over there.
I think we're finally also seeing a year where the defenses have improved in the NFL. I'd have to see all the overall entire stats, but I'm sure that points are down slightly, yardage per game is down slightly across the league.
So I don't know about yardage per game because teams seem to do good in the middle of the field, but I would say that scoring is probably down.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs aren't scoring what they did last year.
Yep.
And a couple of the other teams, the Rams are, the Saints were. So yeah, I would say that's legit on the scoring. But the defensive team from the 20 to the 20 will give it to you. But that red zone defense seems to be more tight.
It's improved league round. Yeah. I'd go with that. More teams are running the ball slightly more than they're passing. They're still passing way too much, in my opinion. The splits on the Steelers-Browns game, realize that the Steelers pass the ball on like 75% of their plays. That's not how the Steelers win games. They're not, even when they were more pass-heavy, they weren't that ridiculous. You're going to lose that game if you got Mason Rudolph throwing 3 out of every 4 plays.
We know that here in Cleveland because we've had people worse than Mason Rudolph throwing 75% of the time. It's like, why?
Deshaun Kaiser. So are we doing the Browns pick then? Is that the final thing to do?
Yeah, always saving the Browns for last. So it's the Miami Dolphins getting 10.5 points against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, I'm gonna do it, and quite frankly, if I was a betting man, I probably would do this anyway. I'd take Miami over Cleveland.
Yeah, 10.5. That's a lot of points.
Right?
So I actually went with Miami too on that one.
Okay. Because I mean, I wouldn't have had that for the Browns Steelers, and we won by 2 touchdowns. But I bet you Miami gives the Browns more of a fight this upcoming Sunday than the Steelers did this past Thursday. And I mean that, more of a fight. Hey, real quick, what was your record last week? Did you check that out before you called in?
Yeah, I had 9 wins last week.
That's something like 9-4 or something, I think.
So yeah, count the losses real quick. It just tells me the wins.
You were 9-4. I got you. Yeah.
5 losses. It was 5.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 5.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah. Very good week, actually. That puts you back around your 667 winning percentage, 700 winning percentage. It's improvement. Always improvement. So, well,
real quick, I got maybe some breaking news because I know you don't do a lot of reading news stories while you're on the air.
Yeah.
And row at 137. And so I guess coming out of the Myles Garrett hearing or something, Myles Garrett is saying that Mason Rudolph used racial slurs.
Yes. What did I say? What did I say was probably behind it?
Were you saying that?
Well, I was. I don't know. No one listens to me, so it doesn't matter. But that's exactly what I figured would make a young African American man mad enough to hit another guy with his helmet. And because you remember me going on about the stuff that I did with high school football stuff?
Right.
Some of the vulgar things that a handful of those kids in their preppy little white suburbs were saying to some of the black kids, I would have hit them if it weren't for the fact that, well, that's really wrong because they're teenagers. And I'm 35 now, and I forget that. But honestly, right, it's like, I just want to just grab this kid by the collar. Also, because a lot of times those kids were bigger than I was. As there's these 17-year-old kids playing in one particular town area and what have you. And hearing them use like the N-word and be slanderous towards the kids on the other team. Of course, Mason Rudolph probably called them that. I would not be surprised. Not in the least. I'm glad that comes out. I hope that does come out. I hope that gets Rudolph 2 games himself. Because the bad thing is people are still going to use that language on the football field. And I'm certainly not saying it's an okay thing. But justifies it in my mind. I hit a guy over the head with a helmet. If I was a black dude, I got called, whatever slur you could think of. So I'm sure Rudolph thinks he's clever, probably has a handful of them in his back pocket that he probably heard all around his town. There's differentiating thoughts. Hey, hang on a minute though, like because I'm all about this, but what you say is who wrote the article? Mary Kay Cabot.
Oh no.
No, this is from Pro Football Talk.
Oh.
And
They're borderline.
Josh Elker wrote it.
Who was the writer?
Josh Elker.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know enough about him. I know with Pro Football Talk, they usually have a heavily anti-Brown slant. Hey, like send that article to me on the Twitter or something, like in a message. I'll read that after the show, and maybe we'll weigh in on that tomorrow. But if that's really what's behind it, and they're not just using some hearsay, or is Pro Football Talk still somehow trying to make that anti-Browns? Because honestly, PFT, sometimes they'll have great articles. Sometimes it's garbage. It makes Barstool Sports look like a reputable magazine. It's I take all this stuff.
Barstool is pretty reputable.
What I'm saying is Pro Football Talk can sometimes be so bad that even though Barstool is okay, it makes Barstool look like, Walter Cronkite. Or like someone that you trust every single time.
The difference is that Pro Football Talk is supposed to be like a real sports website.
Yeah, that's my problem with it.
It's a real one, but they play around and have jokes and make fun of a lot of stuff. But yeah, Pro Football Talk, they're supposed to be very reputable, but yeah, they use a lot of slanderous pieces on teams like the Browns because they know it's clickbait.
Well, exactly, and that's my problem with Cleveland.com, is they do the same thing, and Cleveland.com is supposed to be the reputable source with the backing, but then I can go to Cleveland Browns Daily and get better Browns content. So it's the same parallel there with the Barstool, because Barstool is it's like your Sports Illustrated. It's the thing that it's where it's like, okay, this is fun, this is enjoyable. It's the swimsuit magazine. But then it's putting out better content than Pro Football Talk, or it'd be like if you went to Entertainment Tonight for your real news, or you watched, or like the Onion or Babylon Bee, and then you watch the real news, and it's not as good as those things that you're watching. Like there's the one that the stupid backup quarterback for the New York Giants for years. And his brother was the better quarterback in the NFL. Jesse Palmer, I barely even know her. But that guy, and he does one of those stupid tabloid shows. They were the only ones still going after Epstein. They were the only ones still trying to find out, who killed them. They were the only one left. Daily Mail today, whatever stupid show it is, it's a crap show. But, outside of New York, nobody cared about it anymore. And it should have been big news because there's so much more to it. But you know what? I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories because I only have about 4 minutes left. So, I don't know. It's the sad state of the world that we live in where, like, I disliked that they would treat the Daily Show like it was real news because Jon Stewart was a comedian and an actor. But he presented it in a way in which that it was presented with the same kind of a whatever it was, that when you're watching the real news, you could confuse the two and blur the lines. Now we've actually reached a point where when I'm watching the real news and they're doing stuff about like, hey, look at this dog. He's really cute. Kardashians, what are they up to? That's the real news now. And the fake news, it's The Onion and Babylon Bee. But those stories seem almost as much
more real.
They're almost as much based in reality as the air quotes real news. So I don't know. It's all upsetting to me as someone who wants to actually do this stuff for whatever this is worth, because I'm tired. Because like you literally get your Mary Kay Cabotts and your Pro Football Talks and your Cleveland.coms, and then you compare them against, Cleveland Browns Daily or Barstool, and it's like the stuff that's not supposed to be as good is just as good or better. Anyway, I digress. I don't know. How many games do you think Garrett gets?
That's going to be tough, but I really think it should be 2 or 3. First off, I think I have a thing, like, people push somebody and then you expect to get pushed back, right? Because that's how fights start. Push, then somebody hits. No, man, once you push somebody, you expect to get fucked up. No doubt about it. Like, people are soft out there, man. You push somebody, they might strap you over the head with a helmet. So, my Mason Rudolph for instigating that, for not only kicking Miles in the groin, but shoving his foot into his groin.
Yeah.
That's an egregious act, man.
Right.
And I'm not trying to take away anything that Miles did, but if you don't start with Miles, Miles doesn't do that. So, if you want to put your finger on the trigger, man, expect to get blown away. That's kind of what happened to the dude.
Well, and
now he's over there having a little pity party.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do nothing. I'm just trying to play football. No, man, you're not. It's 8 seconds left, and you're a little mad because you got beat up all game. Deal with it.
Do you know what the yard and downs? The downs and yardage was on that play on top of it? It was 3rd and 29. 3rd and 29.
Wow.
3rd and 29. What's even the point of running a damn play? But I digress. Because you know what? It's if Mike Tomlin weren't the jerk he was, we could wind up going on all day about it. I gotta wrap the show up, especially because what happened to my little folder here? I think I shut the. No, it's right there. So anyway, Dave, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Dave.
My dad says hi.
Tell him I said hey. How you doing, Mr. Warren?
Dave says, hey, how you doing, Mr. Warren?
I'm all right.
And Dad says, all right. All right.
Awesome. Yeah, we got to get him on these picks, man. That's why we got to get this group thing going.
If we do the group thing, I think that's something that'd be kind of fun. Dad's not as big on like the football pick'em thing. Like we could have like the little roundtable discussions of like, what do you think the Browns will do with the Dolphins this week, and or whatever it is. It's Dad's not going to weigh in real heavily on like the Cowboys Patriots matchup and that kind of stuff. I know he'll probably have a couple of good insights, like Tom Brady's a jackass. Cowboys, America's team. I remember when that really actually meant something. Now it's what trying to sell the Cowboys as America's team. Well, what is that like now? That's like trying to say McDonald's is quality burgers and stuff, and it's fun to go to. That used to be a treat when we were kids, even. So like the middle thing, like just think about it. Like when our parents were going to McDonald's, that meant something. That was a big deal. But now, like when people would be like our nieces, nephews, kids' ages, and that kind of stuff, they go to McDonald's. It's like, oh, it's Tuesday. No, you get us some chicken nuggets, and cheesy poofs, blah, 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 and all that crap. Get me a toy. I gotta have a Happy Meal. I need a Dallas Cowboys America's team. It's the same thing. Trying to pass Tony Romo off his Terry. I'm screwing it all up because I'm so mad. Steinbach. So anyway, let me get you out of here so I can play the ending songs. I don't want to go deaf, and that's all that'll happen is because they run through the same line. The song will just be blasting. I'd like to send you off with music, but I can't, so I got to just hang up on you.
Whatever works.
All right, that was Dave, your fantasy football guy, and that was diving face first into the spread. So thank you always for your contributions. And we got to give you an official title. We still haven't done that, right?
I don't think we have, no.
Ooh, call you Scuba Dave. No, that's stupid. Because you dive head first into the...
But I am diving, man. Yeah, we'll have to come up with something.
Deep Sea Dave. Well, at this point, it's just nicknames. It's not something that you would... Like, associate producer was an actual title. Intern was an actual title.
Fisherman Dave?
Yeah, calling you trust the deep sea fisherman, Dave. It always confused me. So I thought that guy's name was Gordon, but that's not even right either because he was Gorton's fisherman. That guy scared the crap out of me. Nightmares as a child. So, hey, listen, Dave, thank you yet again. I got to let you go.
All right, Mark. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, talk to you later, Dave.
All right, then. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. All right, so that was a thing that happened. Not too bad. We're going to just play this, and we're going to head on out for the day. There were your picks. Ooh, what else do we have for you? So I want to thank Dave for calling in with his picks. He knows his stuff pretty well. He follows the league all right. Best of luck to Myles Garrett. Whatever happened there. Hopefully we get a decision by showtime tomorrow so I can report something. I want to thank associate producer Dad. Tons of help today. He's almost doing just as well as Paul normally would. Probably better, honestly. No slagging on you there, Paul. But seriously, I don't know if you didn't know if you were in Philadelphia, Milwaukee, or Green Bay earlier. You started saying cities. I think you said Las Vegas at some point. What are you doing, man? Probably got a lot of beer up there in Wisconsin. Cheese-flavored beer. And Paul's
Milwaukee famous.
That's right. He's probably drinking Old Milwaukee, just taking it to the face all damn day long. Just slow it down a little bit, Paul. Don't drink before you call. Appreciate Epic chiming in the live chat. So, you know what I'll say here then is I want to thank my dad, executive producer, my dad, co-host Paul Warren,
Thank you.
football guy Dave, and Epic for all of you folks and anybody else who tuned in, watched, listened, or will catch this in the reruns. Thank all of you. I appreciate it a lot. I've been Mark Warren, and until next time, this time has been the most recent. Good day to you.